let's talk about Lando Norris, because there's a lot of things to discuss when it comes to him after the Hungarian Grand Prix. Now, we've already spoke about the reasons why McLaren swapped Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri in the last stages of that race. I've already done a review of the race as well, but there is something about Norris, though, that I think needs to be discussed, and that's whether he's lost his nice guy image. Now, the reason why I say this is because there's been a few critics, a few people in the media that have been saying recently that Lando Norris cannot be a world champion because he's too nice. Specifically, Robert Dornbos, who used to be a Formula 1 driver, said that, and there's a few people in the media have said it too. A few of my friends have said it, a few people on Facebook groups have said it. I've seen it talked about a lot during the last few days or so. And it's really come up in the conversation, especially after races like Austria, races like Spain, where arguably Lando Norris should have won both of those races, but he wasn't, in some people's minds, nasty enough, wasn't ruthless enough. And if you look at Formula 1 champions, and look at champions in general, they can be the nicest people outside of the car, or outside of outside of the field, or the pitch, or the pool, or wherever they're competing. But on that field of play, which in the case of Formula 1 is the circuits, it's the paddock, it's the cars, on there, they are beasts, they are animals, they are ruthless, they will destroy you if you try and stop them. Now, love him or loathe him, Max Verstappen definitely has that. Sebastian Vettel, when he was racing, definitely had that. Nico Rosberg had that. Lewis Hamilton has that. Fernando Alonso, without a shadow of a doubt, has that in abundance. But does Lando Norris have it? Has Lando Norris got enough to win a world championship in Formula 1? Personally, right now, I don't think he does, personally. But I don't think that's necessarily because he's not got a nasty streak in him. I don't think it's necessarily because of that. I think it's because of his inconsistency at times, his inability to perform under pressure at times. For me, he should have won in Spain. Had he got off the line well, he would have won. In Canada, I think he should have won as well. But this is also down to the team as well, because the team has shown at times it does not know how to win. Until Hungary. Things have changed in Hungary. A 1-2 finish for McLaren, clear by 15 seconds, 20 seconds by the finish, dominated the race in every way, shape and form. But at the end of it, some people are still asking, does he have that nice guy streak? Or more importantly, has he lost that nice guy image? Because Norris got into the lead of the race because of pit strategy, because of what the team did, and the team wanted to revert it. And Norris was like, no, not doing it, mate, basically. He had the same argument that I think it was Nico Rosberg had, or Hamilton had, years ago I think it was actually in Hungary as well, where he was like, look, if he's going to get past me, I'll let him pass, but he's got to catch up. And Norris, to his credit, was like 5 seconds clear of Piastri. He really had to slow down for a long time to let Piastri go back through. And I think in the end, Norris made the right decision. And I also think that McLaren made the right decision too. But is Norris's nice guy image tarnished after this? I mean, I think it is, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's going to make a lot of onlookers and people within the sport, people like Red Bull, people like Max Verstappen, kind of sit up and be like, this guy's not as not really a pushover. He's standing up for himself, just like Verstappen did for a while in on radio too. I mean, you'd probably argue that Verstappen stood up for himself a little bit too much, but he still stood up for himself. That's the thing, he's not a pushover. I think Norris in the past perhaps has been perceived as a pushover. I'm not saying he was, but I'm saying he's perceived that way. And if he's been perceived that way by us, the fans, the media, the critics, it's going to be perceived that way by the drivers, the teams, and the people who really matter in Formula 1. So yes, I think Lando Norris's nice guy image, I don't want to say it's gone, because I think he's still a nice guy, but I think it's definitely been tarnished. But I also don't think that's a bad thing. I think it'll help him. And if he's going to become a world champion, because I agree with Don Boss on this, if he's going to become a world champion, he's got to be ruthless, he's got to be nasty, and he's got to be mean when he's got to be. He can't be perceived to be a pushover, because otherwise people are going to walk all over him. Guys are going to be sending moves down the inside of him all the time, because they know he's going to move out of the way, for example. But what's your guys' take? What do you think? I'm not saying it's a bad thing that he's lost this image. I think it's a good thing for his career, to be honest, but has he lost it? Let us know in the comments below, as always. And of course, keep it subscribed here to the F1chronicle.com for much more video content on F1 just like this.